afternoon and welcome to all of you. My name is Tom Lally, and I've been a member of the Board of Catholic Family Services for 6 years. It's an honor to be part of an organization that at its essence is following Christ's command to cure the sick. Catholic Family Services works every day in our area, aiding individuals, families, in improving their mental health. And don't we need that today? Because there's not a school community, a workplace, a neighborhood, and dare I say a family that hasn't been affected by mental illness. Catholic Family Services therapists try to help people with depression. They try to give aid to children and adults with varying degrees of anxiety. Couples that may be having trouble, whether it be with one another or parenting, we try to be there for them as well. In schools, we work with children, many of whom come from difficult home backgrounds, trying to make their day better so that they can learn as much as they can in the lessons in the classroom. And in some small ways, we help children with adjusting to a new environment or new point in their life. We try to boost them along. This is the work of Catholic Family Services, and it is vital for this organization to thrive here and now. Now, this vital mission is spearheaded by our executive director, Mr. Tom Duff. And I had the good fortune of serving on the search committee about 4 years ago when we were charged with hiring a new executive director. And when we reviewed Tom's resume and we got to interview him, we knew immediately we had our man, because he is a rare find. If there's a word that describes Tom, in my opinion, it's that of a steward, because Tom truly cares for and watches over his colleagues, the mission of the church, but most importantly, the clients that come to our offices and in our schools. Because Tom truly cares. He's a kind man, and he has an earnest hope that we can improve the daily life of those who are struggling with mental health issues. But Tom also brings a great deal of stewardship in managing our organization, particularly the financial resources of our organization. We garner monies from various institutions, such as the Archdiocese of St. Louis, local governments, and community foundations. And it's this balance that Tom brings to his role of caring for our clients and managing responsibly our organization. I am proud to call Tom Duff my friend. I know I speak for the great therapists and counselors and staff of Catholic Family Services and the board members that we're proud that he's our leader. And I'm proud to introduce to you today the Executive Director of Catholic Family Services, Mr. Tom Duff.
Thank you, Mr. Tom Lally, for your kind words. I think I'm going to have every meeting start off with you. Wow, thank you. Thank you for joining us here today. May 1st, May Day, the kickoff to Mental Health Awareness Month. I am going to stay scripted today. I've assured my leadership team I will do that, so this will not end up like a White House correspondence speech. We will not end up in that world. So today is a momentous occasion for Catholic Family Services. We are here to launch a brand, a new name. When I came to Catholic Family Services 4 years ago, this was already on the table, this was already discussed. But the leadership at that point thought we had to get some other core mission focus before we went down this road. We did that. We figured out what our core services were while continuing our high-quality clinical services. all while making ourselves financially stable. All necessary steps to get us here today. Catholic Family Services has a very proud heritage, and we are not going to forget that just because we are changing our name. We began as part of the St. Vincent de Paul Society in 1955 with an original goal of strengthening families. For a while, we were known as Catholic Family Counseling, and until today, we were known as Catholic Family Services. Our goal, if Blake and Laura, if you guys want to come up here for me. Our goal in creating this name was to maintain our Catholic identity while having a name that was more descriptive of the services that we provide on a daily basis. This was a long process, sometimes painstaking, in narrowing down our options and then deciding upon a name. However, we believe we have found a name and identity that will lead us into the future. I am proud to announce that Catholic Family Services will now be known as St. Louis Counseling, improving lives since 1955. Wow, that's all I can say. First of all, thank you all for being here today. So, man, wow, this is so exciting for our team. So why St. Louis Counseling? We believe that name helps us be very descriptive in our business model, while at the same time maintains that Catholic identity. So let's talk about the namesake, St. Louis. Let's talk about St. Louis, the King of France. He led a life of those helping those in need, bringing those in poverty to his table every night, settling differences between other kingdoms. But his words that come in his last instructions to his family as he was dying speak greatly to counseling. If thou hast great burden weighing upon thy heart, tell it to thy confessor, or to some right worthy man who is not full of vain words. Thou shalt be able to bear it more easily. What does that mean? That means counseling. And when you read further about St. Louis, you read about what he did for individuals, standing up for people that could not stand up for themselves. As we all know, counseling is about being that third-party objective listener to assist in decisions and issues that interfere with our well-being. We are proud to have this namesake as part of the services we provide to our region. Our logo, the shield, and the cross represents our willingness to protect others, lead others down a journey of improvement, and stand up for others who may not be able to stand up for themselves. We are excited for this name and logo to be recognized throughout this region and leading the way in clinical excellence and leading the charge in breaking down the stigma associated with mental health. I now have the distinct honor of introducing Bishop Rivatuso, a man who has been very supportive of all the Catholic Charities Federation of Agencies, as well as demonstrates the understanding of how our faith calls us to help everyone, not just Catholics. I will also say that this morning I told my mother, an old Irish Catholic lady, that I was getting to introduce a bishop, and what she told me was, "Oh, my dear, do not embarrass me. You better wear a tie, and you better call him bishop." So I can always count on my mom for some material. So Bishop Rivatuso.
Thank you for the introduction. I will say that because you were kind, you are not going to be excommunicated today, okay? I'm not saying later on, but today you're fine. Good. But I wanted to thank all of you for the invitation to come because it is a momentous occasion. I know as we come together for our rebranding, it's important to remember that in any rebranding with this St. Louis Counseling, that it doesn't change our commitment. We are committed to reaching out to those who are in need, reaching out to those who are suffering, those who are hurting, those who are struggling, those in need of healing, those in need of greater well-being. And I know that as we come together for this rebranding, we remember that the church's commitment is firm in how we're called to reach out to those that need help, need to remember they are not forgotten, that their cares are indeed important, and we care about what's going on in people's lives and to be part of their lives for helping them have greater well-being and to help them live healthier lives and holier lives. You know, I think to myself as we come together with a faith perspective, we always turn to Jesus, and Jesus Christ, I remember the story, as all of us do, about how he looked upon the crowd that was before him, and he saw those who were troubled, all those who were abandoned, all those who were vulnerable, all those who were suffering and suffering silently, all those who were hurting and in pain. He saw so many who were in need, and Jesus was present. Jesus reached out. Jesus made a difference. Jesus walked with them in their life. Jesus was faithful to them in helping them to be raised up to know they were loved and to help them to know the dignity of who they are as persons and give them greater well-being and the grace of his goodness and kindness and love. And we, in our church's commitment, we're called to also be like Jesus, that we're aware that there's so many who have mental health issues, so many who are in tremendous need, who feel troubled, are abandoned, are vulnerable, are silently suffering, are looking for someone to give them guidance, someone who will walk with them in their challenges of life. All those who are individuals and couples and families, and so many in our school communities who are searching for someone who cares about their cares, and we have that with St. Louis Counseling. And I really believe that this is a tremendous place where we need to, once again, remind our communities that we are providing an invaluable service, because as Pope Francis reminds us, he talks about a theology of accompaniment. And it's important to remember that we're called to not only reach out and serve, but accompany those who we're serving. And those who come to us for counseling services with accompaniment, that we are like Jesus. We're present to them. We truly listen with great compassion. We enter into their lives and to their poverty and need and enrich them by our care and compassion and love and by our counseling skills, as well as accompany them. We walk with them in their challenges to give them support. And as we accompany them, we help them to come to know the truth that they are worthwhile, that their sufferings are not cries that are unheard, that we listen to them with attentive love, and that we answer by the grace of goodness, and we reach out to give them the counseling they need so they know that they are given a word of encouragement, a word of grace, a word of support, a word of inspiration to help them through. You know, we know that stigma of mental illness in our time. We want to raise a greater awareness. We want people to know that if people are troubled and are in need, they need to be attended to. They need to be cared for. They need to know support and our love. And St. Louis Counseling Services truly is providing that wonderful witness, that wonderful accompaniment for so many who are in need. And I know I want to assure Tom and his staff that we are praying for them every day. We're supporting them in this wonderful work, this wonderful ministry, this wonderful apostolate. We need these services for our communities, and our communities are hurting. They're wounded. They're communities that need guidance. They're communities that need the help that we need to give. And as it is mentioned, it's important that we as a Catholic Church remind all of our communities we don't just serve Catholics. We serve anyone who is troubled and abandoned, vulnerable, who is hurting, who is suffering. We're one with them. And we are one in helping them, one in caring for their needs, and one who tries to bring greater well-being to people's lives and help them to rebuild their lives, to build them up in dignity, and to build them up by the grace of goodness to help them to find hope in their lives. So we are truly blessed to have this rebranding, but once again, the firm commitment that's always been there of reaching out to those who need counseling services, that these services will be available for all those who are in need, all those who need to be accompanied in their life to find greater well-being and a church that cares, people who care, and that we care for communities. And I want to, last of all, I want to thank Tom and his staff. I want to thank all those community partners that are here. I want to thank all the donors and benefactors, all the friends of the agency, so many who are so supportive of this wonderful work. You are part of those people who accompany those who are in need. Thank you for your wonderful prayers, your support and generosity, and by your presence here today, it speaks volumes that we do have a firm commitment to those who are in need, who have mental illness issues, and we are there for them always, and we're there for them because they're important, and we want them to know that we value them, that we are with them, we walk with them, and as we're walking with them, we want to help them in their life and bring them hope. May God continue to bless all of us as we continue this new chapter, as it's a chapter we continue to bring the wonderful counseling services to so many who are in need throughout the metropolitan area and beyond. God bless you and all your support and all that St. Louis Counseling Services is doing for so many who are in need. God bless you all.
Thank you, Bishop Rivatuso. We're so honored for you to be here today. We know your schedule is always jam-packed, and so we're so happy that you took the time for us. And just to say the fact that working with kids over the years and young adults, sometimes the church is the only place for mentally ill and people that have no other home. That's where they end up a lot of times. A church family takes them in, and so I'm proud to hear you talk. That will continue to be our mission. So there's another piece of this rebrand that excites me just almost as much as the name change, and that is a new website. So, and I know a lot of our staff are thinking the same thing. So I've always wanted a new website since coming, and I had to practice my mindfulness techniques and my patience to know, that's a therapist joke there, mindfulness. So without further ado, I want to introduce you to www.stlouiscounseling.org. So the screen will keep moving around, and you're going to be able to look at that. And I also encourage you, after this is over, to go to the website and take a look and experience it. But one of our goals with the website was to create a warm, inviting, professional website where our clients could engage our services and begin the therapeutic relationship, where donors can come and view our expertise and understand the scope of services. We found a web designer who can make all this happen in Matt Collins and his business, 2911 Prosperity. Matt is here today taking pictures and video for us. Wave your hand, Matt. Matt, thank you so much for sharing your gifts with us so we can tell our story through technology. It is amazing. Over the last, well, we've been working on this for a while, but the last couple weeks I felt like you're just one of the staff hanging out. It's all volunteer though, right? No, I'm just kidding. Yeah. But please check out that website later, and just those of us that work at Catholic Family Services, you're going to love it, okay? So I would like to further kind of extend some thank yous. There are so many people to thank, and I'm always leery of doing this because I don't want to forget everybody, but there's a few that I will acknowledge, and I'll try to go chronologically so there's some order to that. First, I do need to thank my wife, first of all. She does exist. She is real. A lot of people's like, where is she? How come you never have her around? She's not a paid actress to be here today. Put your hand up at least. All right. Now, she has been a constant support for me. She's the reason I'm here today. She has put up with a lot of my very good jokes over time. However, through this process, she has been very supportive. In fact, today, as I was leaving, I grabbed my wallet, and then when I finally opened it up, because she knows I usually stop and get an iced tea, I found this perfect little note in here to show her support. It says, "You're good enough, you're smart enough, and gosh darn it, people like you." So Yeah. Let me keep rolling here, but Dan Walsh and the Development Committee of Bill Schmidt, Debbie Dugan, Tim Thompson, and Mark Stevens, and the rest of the Board of Directors of Catholic Family Services. Thank you. Dan Walsh. Dan was instrumental in driving this branding project through the board, keeping it at the forefront of my mind, and providing support for myself and the team through this process. Dan unfortunately could not be here today as he is out of town, out of the country, but I am truly grateful for his investment in the success of this project. Tom Cavanaugh and IU Creative. We knew we had to find a perfect branding company and the creative mind to help us find a name that maintains our Catholic identity and clearly identifies our core services of helping everybody. Tom provided us with the creativity needed to bring forth many different names, create the logo, colors, and theme that will guide us into the future. Tom also understood the relationship between our foundation underneath the Archdiocese, but also helping the community to understand that everyone is entitled and able to come to these services. Tom, I am truly glad you are here today so you can see the positive response of your work and know that this work will go on to impact many lives and the well-being of many people from our region. Thank you, Tom. The leadership team of Catholic Family Services for being supportive and responsive as we walk together in this process. So many people chipped in and helped. Specifically, 2 individuals who once again took that job description role of duties as assigned, Blake Hildwine and Beth Kreider. From day one, Blake assisted with the nuts and bolts of this project, from attending meetings and development committee and IU Creative to working with our web designer on and off, and to help us get ready till tomorrow when our staff comes in, the forms are ready to roll and St. Louis Counseling is alive. And we would not be at this event today if it was not for Beth Kreider at Longmire Sculpture Park here. She was able to take on the project management of this goal of having a successful event and make it come to life. She further took on things such as signage needed for our office locations. Right here is an example of that. And also the logistics that's going on right now with all of our office locations to get the signage up within this week that we will proudly be displayed as St. Louis Counseling. Thank you both for being on this journey of stress with me. The Catholic Charities Central Office and Board of Directors, Teresa Ruzicka, the President of Catholic Charities, and her team have been supportive of the process from day one, even with a grant to assist in this funding this project. Teresa could not be here today due to being out of town, but I know they will continue to support us after today as we display our new brand, and Brian Tuvino and his team of communication experts will continue to support us. Thank you. My last thank you is to the staff of Catholic Family Services, now St. Louis Counseling. The ones that are doing the work every day, the ones that are in the trenches, the ones that are consistently providing high-quality clinical services to our community and region. If you are not already standing, please stand up if you're an employee of Catholic Family Services. If it was for not all of you, we would not be here today, and we would not be able to launch this new brand. So once again, thank you for all that you do. All right. I know that some of you may be getting tired of hearing me talk, but there's just a couple more exciting things to share. As you heard me discuss earlier, one of our goals is to break down stigma in the region. One path we will take is to help the community understand mental health through opening doors, utilizing technology, and making the discussion on mental health okay to have. So, fresh off the presses is that we'll be hosting an entertaining and relaxed podcast that will feature interviews with mental wellness focus on our community by interviewing individuals from all realms of our region. CEOs that are willing to talk about wellness within their companies, professionals that will be able to talk about integrative and clinical approaches, individuals that actually want to share their story and their story of success. I'll be working with Chris Denman. Chris, you're here today too, and his media partners to be able to make that come to life. It will be an avenue for our social media, for our website to stay alive and to stay current. We are very excited about this opportunity and to become innovative within the region as well. All right, I have one more topic I want to cover, and that is something we are beginning today and will continue annually during Mental Health Awareness Month. After all, I hope you all got your green, this is on this side, green ribbons to celebrate Mental Health Awareness Month. But we want to start the St. Louis Counseling Mental Health Ambassador Award. As we continue to promote breaking down stigma related to mental health, it is important to recognize those who will stand up and do it. There are many ways to make this happen, through providing clinical excellence in your clinical work, which shows that treatment makes a difference to those naysayers, advocacy from the neighborhood to the state to the federal level, education in mental health, or just having the conversation. All aspects that we want to be able to recognize. As I mulled over this idea and thought of many different individuals within our region that was deserving, I came to realize there was one person that I think was deserving of this inaugural 2018 St. Louis Counseling Mental Health Award. This person is on our staff. This person is a go-to person for really everyone inside or outside our agency, from myself to community members to neighborhood organizations to individuals that are just looking for answers. Now, yeah, there it is. Now, she is not going to like receiving an award because she is that type of person who truly believes. All right, this is the best part of the day. She is that type of person who truly believes working hard is a way of life. That this type of work is a mission, that we must empower individuals to help themselves, that we must respect the dignity of work and constantly strive to take care of our employees and make them the best that they can be. I would like to present Sandra Barker. Boy, she's going to kill me. She is going to kill me. Sandra is our Chief Program Officer at St. Louis Counseling. Sandra has spent a career working in rural and urban areas, making a difference in the lives of others when it comes to mental and emotional health issues. Sandra is an advocate and honors the licensure of being a social worker in every aspect, and she makes coming to counseling enjoyable. It is not uncommon for an adult to reach back out to Sandra to just check in with her, or for a college student to call her up during a break and come back. Just this week, she showed me an invitation of a kid who was living in Sioux Falls, South Dakota, and wanted to invite her to her graduation because that person would not be at the place they were for Sandra. Her voice is meaningful, and she is not afraid to take the more challenging role while navigating the complex world of mental health. I am honored to be on this journey with you, even though you're a Green Bay Packers fan. And just a little bit ago, she sent me an email of Aaron Rodgers and the big cheesehead saying, "You can do it." But we have an award that Beth is going to take back to you here. But thank you for all that you do, and you truly deserve to be the inaugural winner of this award. Thank you. I'm just afraid I gave her something to throw at me now. All right. The last thing I will say today is a call to action. First of all, if you haven't liked our Facebook page or don't follow us on Twitter, please take your phone out right now and do that. I promise we will not look at what your private life is doing. We can't see any of that. Just do that, all right? Follow us. For those of you that are savvy of social media, use 2 hashtags. Break down stigma. It's on the back of our business cards now. That's one of our core missions. And also hashtag St. Louis Counseling. Let's try to make a couple things trending. Let's take a step into the 2000s, right? For those of you, to all of us, please have a conversation with somebody that opens a door to breaking down the mental health stigma. We all know somebody who does not believe in the concept of counseling, and we all know somebody that has a mental health or emotional health condition. 1 in 3, 1 in 4 individuals, whatever the data you look at, the research tells us we all know somebody. Be a conversation starter and help our homes, neighborhoods, community, and region. Thank you for all your time and attention today. Please take the opportunity to mingle, network, and join the grounds of Lamar Sculpture Park, and just rejoice in a brand new beginning. Thank you all.